Should apology forms be sent out to Mitch Johnson?
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to Locked On Spurs. You're on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Kansas City, San Antonio. Glad to have y'all back. Happy hump day, everybody. And as always, we thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen every single day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Kansas City Plus. Have Locked On Spurs newsletter in the description below. Click on that link. If you're watching on YouTube, I made it very simple for you. LO Spurs newsletter. Click on that link. It'll get you something for free. For free. Hits your email inbox every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. So what are we talking about today? Heard a little while ago, right? Apology forms for Mitch Johnson. Yeah. If you look back in the last few games, Spurs are doing pretty good. Back to great, but a lot better than they have been. The record, we'll get into that. Some of the key points of why the Spurs are having a successful stretch right now. But is it because of Mitch Johnson? Is it because finally he's getting his groove going on and the Spurs are playing a lot better basketball? So we're going to be talking about that, why and why not apology form should be sent out. And then it's time for you guys, Locked On Spurs fans. Your comments are coming in, and we're going to pick two of them, react to them right here on Locked On Spurs. Who's going to bring in our guest? Look who is back, everybody. The infamous, the slender Mike Jimenez of Area 210 Podcast. Mike, what's your secret? I've been noticing you've been losing a little weight here.
Oh, man. Cutting down on the carbs a little bit, man. Cutting down the sodas. So that's,
what
part of what's going on.
That's my advice right there. You put like a Diet Coke or you put like a Dr. Pepper in front of me. I'll cave. It's just so refreshing. But again, everybody, make sure to follow him on X at MJ Acquired Taste. Again, he is with Area 210 Podcast. And hope you've been okay, man. Hope you've been okay. How is the Space City life, right? You're in Houston now?
Oh, dude, I've already been getting this nonsense, all right? I don't live in Houston. Right now, I'm going back and forth between Conroe and San Antonio. So Conroe's pretty interesting, man, because it is 3 hours from Dallas.
Yeah.
3 hours from San Antonio. It's 3 hours from Austin, and it's about an hour and a half from Houston. So it's kind of this middle ground where I can pivot in either direction in any given weekend. But I'll be back in San Antonio later on this week.
Absolutely. All right. Why is Mike here? Well, because I'm actually seeing a topic from his show. He brought up a good point on his show he mentioned a couple of days ago, and it revolving around Mitch Johnson. Now, Mitch Johnson isn't like the most popular guy right now among the Spurs fan base, but Jimenez did bring up a good point. Should Spurs fans get out an apology form for him? Because the Spurs are playing great. Now, Jimenez, you brought up that the Spurs, again, before we continue, everybody, just make sure. We're recording this before the Pistons game last night, okay? So keep that in mind, all right? So whatever that happens in the Pistons game, just let it be. But for now, again, pre-Pistons game, the Spurs are 5-7 under Mitch Johnson. Had a 3 under Mitch Johnson. So they're showing some signs of success. Jimenez, what was your point? Why did you bring this up? Why do you say, hey, Spurs fans, you got to give some credit to Mitch Johnson?
Well, the point I was trying to make is every time a Spurs player has a good game, like Sohan comes out and balls out one day, Devin Vassell or whomever, and you get these things on Spurs Twitter where they have these apology forms out there saying, you need to apologize to this player. You need to apologize to Keldon Johnson because he was hot for 3 weeks. You need to apologize to Jeremy Sohan or whatever the case may be. And I looked at it and I thought to myself, okay, the Spurs lost not only Victor Wembanyama, who was going to be Defensive Player of the Year, but they lost De'Aaron Fox 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
De'Aaron Fox had a near triple-double against the Mavericks, was like, 1 rebound or 1 assist away from a triple-double. And the Spurs have gone on and have won 5 out of 7 games, or 5-2 in the last 7 games.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, where is everybody? Where's all that venom that was going towards Mitch Johnson? Where is it now? These players are winning games for a reason. Now, I know that they played some bad teams out there in Toronto. They beat Philadelphia, who might be tanking for the most part. But I was thinking to myself, I was like, why isn't anybody calling for an apology form for Mitch Johnson? Because Mitch Johnson, I'm sorry, I think is doing a pretty decent job as a head coach this year. And I just look at it and I think to myself, are Spurs fans so spoiled as to demand greatness from somebody who is so young and so new to the coaching gig? And what I fear is that maybe the Spurs front office might take that beat and go off and get somebody else.
Yeah.
You see Mitch Johnson do well someplace else.
Yeah.
I'm a really good coach someplace else. And I just want to know where all these apologists out? Where these apologists? They should be out already.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up because one, you're right. Spurs fans are quick to send out apology forms for individual players, but it should extend to coaches. Here's the other thing too. Not only are they 5-7 in the last 7, well, whoever span that is, but they're 4-1 in the last 5 again, heading into the game versus Detroit. And you look at the team right now, and they're on the groove right now. The defense has gotten better. You're seeing contributions from Blake Wesley, from Devin Vassell, who said after the a recent win against Toronto that the team challenged him. And the coaches also challenged him to be a better defender, and you're starting to see that on the court. Also, too, I think sometimes Spurs fans forgot that he's a rookie coach. I don't know if there's even a label beyond that because he's like a thrown in the fire rookie coach, because it's not like he had hey, Pop retired already, Mitch, you're the guy, so get ready for this entire offseason because you're the new guy. It was more like, oops, Pop got hurt, he got sick, Mitch, you're it. Just bam, here you go. So he's doing the best he can. And look, it's not just the loss of players, Fox and Wemby. Those, there's Popovich. He's not on the sidelines. Maybe can't be there with him in games to help. Well, not really in games, but around the area because to let him know, hey, you're doing good or doing bad. He talks on the phone. So he doesn't have that much of a strong, support staff right there with Popovich on the side. Also, too, you look at the schedule. We'll talk about that in a bit, but he's beating teams that they should beat. And if your record shows on paper that you're a better team, you should handle business. And Mitch Johnson and the Spurs are handling business against teams they should beat. Jimenez, you've been on record vehemently saying, no, this is the guy moving forward. Do you want to see the Spurs team keep him on? Let's just say Pop says, okay, we're done. I'm done. That's it. Happy retirement, Pop. Go off in the sunset. Mitch, you're the guy. Do you want them to sign him for a long-term deal or a short-term deal?
No, I think like 3 years would probably be sufficient. Okay. You'll know what you have with him when it comes to it. It's kind of an interesting situation because ESPN, Ramona Shelbourne had that article with Michael Wright a couple of weeks ago where they were talking about how the Spurs had 8 succession plans in place for Pop to leave. It started with Mike Brown, then went to Budenholzer, then Amy Udoka, Becky Hammond, and all the way down. It went on to say that Mitch Johnson happened to be the one that it fell in his lap. And he was also the least prepared. He was also the youngest as well. And he did not have an offseason. He was not declared the man. He was in limbo the entire time. He doesn't have his people there. He has Pop's people there. And for him to go out there and take over a team that was 2-3 when Pop went out with the stroke and have a record of 29-36.
Yeah, right.
That's what he is going into the Pistons game, 29-36. The Spurs had back-to-back 22-win seasons. So the Spurs are better win-wise. They're going to end this year with about, I don't know, let's say the Spurs end with 34, 35, 36 wins. You have to ask yourself as a Spurs fan, are the Spurs better now than they were the year before?
Sure.
And if the trajectory is going upward, why would we mess with that? Because you could go out there and get a Budenholzer, you can go out there and get another coach, but we already know who those guys are. We know exactly who they are. We know what kind of success level they're going to have, but we don't know what we had with Mitch Johnson because it's too early to tell. And for Spurs fans to come out all over Spurs Twitter and go, man, he ain't it. He ain't it. Yeah. Come on, man. He's thrown into the fire. He's a young guy. We don't know what we have with him. And I tell you this much, Spurs dump him, Spurs move on from him, he's going to be snatched up by another team right away. He has another job lined up already.
Well, it already almost happened. I think the Wizards were chasing him a few seasons ago, so he could have left too. Imagine if he left. You could be possibly looking at maybe Brett Brown right now or Matt Nielsen or maybe somebody else from deep into the bench right now. There's Kenny Trevino, who's the Austin Spurs. So it's Mitch Johnson, he's proven himself to be a worthy candidate, right? I think that's the best way to sum it up. He's a worthy candidate, not the shoe-in guy. If Pop hangs it up.
Yeah, he's a worthy candidate. And it's one of those things where I think a lot of Spurs fans think that, oh, well, we can just go get another coach and he'll go back to being an assistant coach. That's not how it works. You either want him or you don't. He's not going to go back and become an assistant coach again. Why would he? He's already tasted what it's like to be a head coach. He already has it on his resume that he took a 22-win team to a mid-30s team, that he's improved, and that he did this.
And by the way, they're still in the play-in chase. They're still in it. Yeah, they're not out of it.
Few games out, and on top of that, to be winning games without your best two players, without Wemby, without De'Aaron Fox, is big. A lot of this coincides with the fact that they have Castle now in the starting lineup, and you're seeing a lot more cohesiveness with Devin Vassell.
Yeah,
Keldon Johnson's playing better. Blake Wesley's coming back out of nowhere. We had that huge game from Mamu, which was fun about a week ago. I'm not saying that magic is happening, right? They're playing bad teams and beating bad teams. But to go from a bad bottom-dwelling team to a good team, you need to take the escalator up, right? It's not an elevator, it's an escalator.
Right.
You got to gradually make your way up. And we are now a team that is not really, really bad, not really, really good, but we're a lot better than what we were last season.
Absolutely. He is Mike Jimenez of Area 210 Podcast on YouTube. Follow Mike on at MJ Acquired Taste. We're not done talking about Mitch Johnson. When we get back, we're going to ask why Spurs fans should not sign apology forms for Mitch Johnson right here on Locked On Spurs. But first, I want to talk to you about Game Time.
There's nothing like watching basketball live. The energy of the crowd, the sound of sneakers on the hardwood, and maybe even a celebrity signing courtside. If you want to catch a game in person, Game Time makes tickets getting them easier than ever. Game Time's new feature, Game Time Picks, filters out the fluff and shows you only the best deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time scrolling through thousands of tickets. You got easy ticket shopping. You just check it on the Game Time app. Check out the amazing deals on some huge matchups coming up. Super deals. Game Time Picks even highlight super deals, giving you the best bang for your buck. Peace of mind. View seats before you buy. No surprise fees. The lowest price guarantee. You can book with total confidence. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.
A Jedi uses the Force. To subscribe to Locked On Spurs, pass on what you have learned.
We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with the Mr. Olympia himself, man Jimenez. What's next? You gonna what was that thing you did a few years ago, or not a few months ago? Or what was your path to cuteness? Remember that? Thing you had? And remember the videos of you running? You would always have sent out videos of you doing like a run outside.
Oh man, I did the half marathon in December and I got burned out, man. I did referee in high school basketball, got burned out. So I'm back on it. I'm back hitting the streets and pounding the pavement, running 3 miles a day.
All right, Jimenez. Well, I'm pretty sure your lady will appreciate it. Yeah. Again, he is with Area 210 Podcast, and we're talking about Mitch Johnson and apology forms. Well, should they be sent out? So Spurs fans get their pen, sign them, and submit them to Mike Jimenez. Well, Mike showed why or proved why maybe Spurs fans should do that. Talk about why they shouldn't. And you hit the biggest one on the head in the first segment is in the recent games they're beating some cream puff teams. I mean, you got a Toronto team that's tanking. You got a Philly team that's tanking. You got a Dallas team that didn't have anybody in that second game, that Dallas series. You got a lot of teams right now. They're kind of soft on their schedule. Why I think Spurs fans should hold off on signing the form is because starting yesterday and moving forward, we'll see this true team. We'll see the metal be tested because they got some heavy hitters. They had the Pistons last night. They got Boston coming up. They still have Golden State. By the way, Jimenez, they still got a pair of games against the Cavs. 2 of them is still on the schedule. This is still not an easy out of the season. Yeah, sure, they got a bulk of them at home, but they still got a lot of games still on the road left, so they get tested just on the road itself. I think apology forms, if they're going to be signed, you sign them at the end of the season. Because for me, if he busts through what the Vegas projection is, bro, I think Vegas had him at 35 wins heading into the new season. If he gets at that or more, I say, yeah, you do it. Because here's a question, too. Do you think Popovich, if he was still around, would have a better record with his team? No, I don't know. Your thoughts?
No, I don't think Popovich would. All due respect to Pop, Pop is on the Mount Rushmore of coaches. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time. If you want to consider him to be the GOAT, then I can't argue with that. 5 chips. He's an all-time great, but he was also at the tail end of his career before the stroke. And I think the idea of him coming back is kind of fantasy land when it comes to it all. But at the end of the day, he was not doing his best coaching anymore. It's kind of like Tim Duncan was not as great of a player in year 20 as he was in year 7, right? It's just one of those things where he had passed his prime. So I do believe that Mitch Johnson's doing better because maybe he's a little bit more energy being infused, a younger, more relatable coach to some of these players. But that being said, that number of 35 wins, Mitch Johnson will probably get right at it. But the fact of the matter is that he's getting at it missing Wemby for a third of the season. He's getting at it without having De'Aaron Fox. He's getting at it with having Sohan and Vassell missing a significant number of games. I think that if you had told me before the season started, this is where we have to go back in time. If you had told me before the season started, Pop's going to have a stroke after game 5.
Sure.
You told me before the season started that we're going to have this young guy who was not prepared in Mitch Johnson take over the team. And, oh, by the way, Wemby is going to miss the last 25 games of the season. Oh, by the way, we're going to have a big trade in the middle that he's going to get out. De'Aaron Fox is going to get out. And, oh, by the way, we're going to hand the keys over to Stephon Castle, who was a rookie. If you told me all of that and said that the Spurs would get 35 wins, I wouldn't have believed you.
Right. Yeah. And so relying on
so who gets the credit? Who gets the credit then?
Yeah, exactly. No
credit then.
I see where you're going at. And also, too, relying on a 39-year-old veteran point guard to steady the ship. But and I see where you're going with this whole apology form thing for Mitch Johnson. I totally get it. I do. I've been on Locked On Spurs plenty of times saying that although if the coach's search begins because Pop says that's it, I'm done, then Mitch Johnson has a full leg in the door. So I think he's probably the leading candidate. But what he's doing to end the season is impressive. We mentioned the 3-game winning streak. Jimenez brought up 5-7. I brought up 4-1 in the last 5 games heading into the Pistons game. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to be happy about. Here's the other thing, too, why I think Spurs fans, if there's an apology for him to be signed, should hold off on that until the end of the season, is because, man, can you imagine if he helps guide the team to not only maybe just knock on that play-in door. Let's just say they just get one game out, or they trip into it because they're winning and you see Phoenix losing and, Sacramento sliding. Dallas is out already. I mean, you got to break out the pen and paper, don't you? You got to sign them right there. That happens. Would you think an apology form would be due if, let's just say, they get one game out of the play-in?
Yeah, I can see where you're going with that, and the answer would be yes. But the fact of the matter is that, we have to look at this as incremental growth. We also have to look at it as, well, what does Wemby want? Because Wemby has a huge say in it. And exactly who would the Spurs bring in? Because a lot of people are under the impression that we're going to get, Hurley from UConn. It's not going to happen, right? He turned down the Lakers, right? We're going to go get Steve Kerr. We're going to go get whatever. All this is all fantasy land. Now, the Kerr one,
maybe.
I see that possibly see that one. But we're not going to get Becky Hammond. We're not going to go get these guys. It's like the two most likely ones I think of are Coach Bud and Kerr. And if that excites you, I can see Steve Kerr being exciting because he has some championships on his wall as well. But he didn't create that team, man. That was Mark Jackson's team that took to the championship. But I look at it and I just think to myself, we have this weird thing going on, this weird dynamic about how we have this emerging superstar in Victor Wembanyama. does he deserve to have a veteran head coach that wants to come in and take over this team, or do you pair him up with somebody who's young? I can see the argument of wanting to have that veteran coach, but are we going to have a veteran coach that's a retread, or are we going to have a veteran coach who's just simply going to be a former star like Steve Kerr? If it's Kerr, I get it.
Yeah.
But if it's not, may as well go with the young guy.
And here's the other thing, too. Remember, before Wemby got sidelined and after Pop was sidelined as well, Mitch Johnson continued doing player development with them pregame. He never stopped that. So there's a bond there already. There's a bond.
And there's a lot to be said about players who are playing down the stretch and a coach that is not losing the team. I mean, when De'Aaron Fox went down, we all knew he was going to be shut down at some point. Because, right?
It was obvious, yeah.
We all knew it was going to happen. But it was at that point, the wheels could have just come off. It could have happened that way. But someone steadied the ship. And someone is leading this team right now. And whether you like him or not, or you have confidence in him or not, that person's Mitch Johnson. Whether you like it or not, he's leading this team to 10 to 12 more wins than last year. Whether you like him or not, that young guy is wanted by other players, by other coaches, by other teams. He's a hot commodity, and we don't get it. I think Spurs fans are so trapped into the mindset of we need to be a 50-win team because of what we did from 97 to 2018 or however long it was. I think we're still stuck in that mindset and understanding that the rebuild is a rebuild. It's not a overnight success like when we got Robinson or like when we got Duncan. It's a longer burn. And Mitch Johnson, we bail on him. He might ball out someplace else.
Yeah, I know. By the way, you could definitely see the rigors and the stress of being a head coach. He's getting a lot more gray than I remember at the start of the season. He's getting a lot more gray. I've been meaning to ask him that. I might ask him that towards the end of the season. Yeah, it's all over. But again, hey, those are our thoughts on whether or not Spurs fans should sign an apology form for Mitch Johnson. What do you think? You agree with Jimenez? Yeah, start signing them, sending them out. Start handing them out to Jimenez. Or do you maybe see what I see? Maybe just take a pause on that. Maybe let's not jump the gun quick and realize, maybe they're playing some soft teams right now, and let's just see how he does to finish the season. All that and more. Yeah, right here on Locked On Spurs. So we appreciate you tuning in. But we're not done. We're not done. When we get back, we're going to look at you guys, Locked On Spurs fans, comments. Guys, leaving a bunch of them. We're going to pick two right here on Locked On Spurs with Mike Jimenez of Area 210 Podcast.
What's up, guys? This is KG Tang, voice of Sanami Shinizugawa and Demon Slayer, and you're watching Locked On Spurs with Jeff Garcia.
We're back right here on Locked On Spurs with Mike Jimenez of Area 210 Podcast. Follow him on Nice at Area 210 Podcast. He'll talk about that in just a few minutes, but it's time for you guys, Locked On Spurs fans. Been a while since we read some of your comments. We're going to pick two of them. We're going to react to them right now here on Locked On Spurs. So Jimenez, before we get into the first comment, what a recent stretch for Devin Vassell. I mean, putting up 20 points a game is almost becoming the norm now. Definitely double figure scoring. He looks more at ease. He's playing better. He's more commitment to defense. Overall, yay, Devin. But we have a comment here regarding Devin and his current play. So Jimenez, let's dive into it. This is from Jimmy J 7816. He says, quote, Devin gets paid too much to be the fourth option. For now, it's okay since Castle is on a rookie contract. Eventually, the Spurs may not be able to afford keeping Vassell. Hang on. Let's see. It goes on to say, Keldon's on the cheaper contract right now. Okay. Yay. Here we go. If a good trade opportunity presents itself, the Spurs should take it. What do you think about that comment? Devin is playing great, but he's getting paid a lot of money. But if he stays here moving forward, he's not going to be the first option, the second, maybe not even the third. He might be the fourth option. You agree with Jimmy here that maybe he's better off somewhere else?
Yeah, he is better off someplace else. And I hate to say that because Devin Vassell's been my guy since his days over Florida State. Remember, James Pledger and I over at San Antonio Spurs back in the day were all about Devin Vassell. We were so happy when he got drafted by the Spurs. Devin Vassell, we questioned earlier in the season, does he have that leap? Is there another leap within him? And the answer is no. Devin Vassell only does well when he's the main option. I mean, he is not capable of being the third or fourth guy on the team. He likes to have the ball in his hands. He likes to put up his shots. And don't get me wrong, you might look at him getting 24, 26, 28 points. It's because he's option number one when you don't have Wemby out there, when you don't have De'Aaron Fox out there.
Yeah.
And Castle has to pass the ball to somebody. If he did this well and shot this well with De'Aaron Fox and with Wemby in the lineup, I'd be more excited about it. If they're going to give him one more year because there isn't another trade opportunity out there, then I get it. We want to see what we have. But Devin Vassell, I like him as a player. Defensively, he's not as good as what he was in college, but the fact of the matter is that at the end of the day, he's a slightly above average player. And he's very, very ball hungry sometimes, some hero ball action back in the day. And if the Spurs moved on from him, it wouldn't hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing great. And, there's two sides of that coin. He's playing great, and the Spurs are definitely capitalizing, getting some W's. But the other side of it, too, he's definitely upping his trade value.
Yep.
There's that as well. And look, it's going to be interesting offseason. You have the draft. You have the draft lottery coming up soon. Yeah, free agency period, all that stuff. And, if the Spurs want to, again, keep this rebuild going on at a faster pace, then maybe you flip him for an established player. Maybe that big, he could be definitely a nice trade for a quality big man to come in and back up Victor Wembanyama. But, maybe they can address that in the draft. Maybe we don't know. But the point is, Devin is playing great. There's no doubt about that. But he is getting paid a lot of money now. But I think his money declines, right? I think it's starting to decline now. So it's very structurally similar to Keldon Johnson. So he'll definitely be cheaper on the back end of it. But yeah, is Devin willing to take not just a back seat, but a back seat to being the guy? I think he can. I think if he stays on the Spurs, he's going to have to understand that maybe he's better suited off the bench.
Yeah, that's very good.
That's yeah.
Because I think he is better suited off the bench. And what if the Spurs somehow magically, I know there's like only a 13% chance right now, but move into the top four, we get Dylan Harper or an Ace Bailey type of player, and suddenly we have a lot of talent there that play the guard position. And at that point, is he capable of being the seventh guy on the team?
Right.
And don't get me wrong, we need shooters all over the place, and he can shoot the ball from time to time. I like him, and if we keep him, that's great. But if the trade offer is there and it makes the team better and it provides that rebounding and defense that we need inside, then just got to do.
All right, thank you for that comment. We appreciate it. The next comment is from Headlog8311. He says, hope the Spurs sign Mamu. Give him a bigger role next year. Go Spurs, go. He's reacting to Mamu's big night versus the Knicks, where he went off for 34 points, set up some ridiculous record in the NBA, like the most points, that amount of points scored in a short amount of time. Mamu definitely is the energy guy, Jimenez. He brings that energy off the bench, to the court. He's probably one of the better. I feel more confident when he's taking the three than probably a lot of the Spurs on the roster right now. But what do you think about that? Do you think the Spurs should bring him back and give him a larger role? I've been thinking I don't know. If another team comes knocking on his door, they're willing to give him more money and more play time. I see the Spurs encouraging him to exit, kind of like what they did with Boban. Remember, Boban wanted to pay, and then Popovich was like, what are you, crazy? The Pistons want to pay you more than us and give you more playing time? You got to go. I can see that scenario happening. But what do you think about Mamu and his future in San Antonio?
I think Mamu in that Knicks game made himself some money. Come on, man.
He did.
Knocked out all 7 3-pointers, 34 points, Flavor Flav coming out from the stands and hyping him up. It was fantastic. It was so much fun. I'll even argue that was the biggest night of the season for the Spurs.
Yeah, that was a fun night.
I mean, I was there for the 50-point game by Wemby. The Mamu game would have been more exciting. Mamu was the lowest paid Spur this year, $2.1 million. And should the Spurs re-sign him? The answer is yes. But again, what is the price point at it?
Yeah.
I'm a big nerd when it comes to the Spurs. My favorite stat is effective field goal shooting percentage.
Oh, yeah, you love it.
Right now,
you love that.
He's had double figures in 5 of the last 6 games, now that he's getting extended minutes. For the season, 64.6% from the field. Effective field goal shooting, 64.6%, which means for every 100 times he shoots the ball, he scores about 129 points, right? For a 3-point shooter, I wanted to go back in time statistically to see when was the last time we had a 3-point shooter like Mamu get a 64.6% effective field goal shooting percentage. Went back 25 years, guess what? It's never happened.
Never happened, huh?
Never happened. The closest one was Brent Barry, like 15 years ago. I went back all the way to 1997 to Duncan's rookie year. Went back in time. You had Brent Barry. You had Boris Diaw with a big year one time. We had Davis Bertans. We had these 3-point shooters who had these big years of that. Just 1 year. And Mamu is outshining all of them. There's going to be another team out there, a good team, who's going to look at Mamu and say, let me get this straight. You shoot 69% from 2, and you shoot 42% from 3. Why weren't the Spurs playing you? Right. You're 6'9", you grab boards. By the way, his per 36 is 22 points, 10.5 rebounds, and 3 assists. That is per 36.
Right.
Why the heck hasn't this guy been getting minutes? So if we're going to give Mitch Johnson some praise earlier in the show, this is the negative part of it is by saying, hey, look, you do realize that statistically Mamu's one of your better players on this team.
Right. Yeah. And I think he's made the case to stick around. He's definitely going to make it hard for the Spurs to cut ties with him if they want to go that direction. But I think because of the position they're in right now, a rebuild, that has to be on the table. I mean, what if they get again a quality big man to back up Wemby? He's gonna have to have some minutes, that eat into Mamu's. I do think that he opened some eyes across the league for teams looking to add more players to the roster next season. But I would love to know who could. I mean, he's a great locker room guy. We already saw the prank he did on Castle, but beyond that, I've seen him in the locker room with guys, just fun, and comes out and he just cracks these like offhanded jokes and these weird comments that make the whole locker room laugh. So he's great in there. He's great on the court. He's great off the bench. And I like that he knows his role, Jimenez. He had to come out, try to be Wemby or Fox. He's just Mamu. And if there's an open shot, he'll take it. He'll make it. Great. If he doesn't, move on. Energy, hustle, all that stuff you need. But yeah, I think his future is a little clouded right now. Jimenez, your thoughts?
That Knicks game was a master's class in knowing your game. He's so many pump fakes that he made out there. He did not. I mean, what was he? 13 of 14. The only shot that he missed was a blocked shot. He was playing within himself. He did not shoot a bad shot. When a hand was in his face, he brought the ball back down, and he was getting boards. He had double-digit boards that game. He was having great passes out there. He was playing decent defense. He was a man on fire, and it's beyond all that. I mean, 5 of the last 6 games, he's at double figures in the more leading into the Pistons game. I just look at Mamu and I think to myself, he's very efficient, and that's what you need on this team is efficiency. And I asked this question on the podcast the other day: who would you rather have, or what would you rather have? Mamu at 3 years, $24 million, or would you rather have an extension to Sohan at 3 years, $65?
Yeah.
Because I don't see much difference between Mamu and Sohan when it comes to value to this team. I really don't. I mean, I see somebody. If we need more offense, I'd rather have Mamu out there than Sohan. Sohan's a better defender, but offensively, Mamu, kicks his tail when it comes to that.
Right. Yeah.
It's just so much. It's so interesting. I wish those two players could just meld together and become one.
Exactly.
Defense and Mamu's offensive.
Yes, that new player. That's like, I'm going to use an anime riff here. It's like they're doing a fusion in Dragon Ball Z. Everybody knows the fusion dance, so they can do that. That'd be great. But look, Mamu definitely is putting up a strong case why the Spurs should keep him around. We'll see what happens moving forward. Hey, thanks guys for doing those comments. We appreciate it. We'll read more as the season continues to move on and wind. I cannot believe it's really winding down already. It's going to go over. It's going to be over like that in feel like seconds. But hey, we'll still keep you covered right here on Locked On Spurs. Jimenez, we've been talking about Area 210 podcast. What's cooking in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, we do the show Monday through Friday. It's from 10 a.m. to about 11:30 a.m., about an hour and a half talking sports, pop culture, things that are nostalgic, things that make us some crazy news and things like that. It's a fun show. Jeff, you're oftentimes on the show on Wednesdays talking Spurs. We have a lot of NFL talk going on these days because the NFL draft, believe it or not, is in about a month. With the NBA draft is in June. Lots to get into when it comes to all that. And of course, March Madness. It's a fun show. Area 210 podcast with me and Joe Garcia on YouTube.
Right. That's right. Joe's also a frequent guest here on Locked On Spurs as well. Yeah. So both Jimenez and Joe make their appearances here on LOS. But you want to see him on the daily, though, make sure to check him out at Area 210 Podcast on YouTube. And Jimenez, keep up the good work, man. Keep up that good work, man.
By the way, half the things that you say about me on Twitter that you said or about what I said on the podcast are so...
No, wait. I don't say it. I just ask. I go, did I hear that? See, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying, Jimenez said that he eats eggs and ham for breakfast. I'm just saying, did I make sure that I hear that? Did I hear that right? See, I'm just trying to clarify Jimenez. That's all. I'm not making a certain statement about some of the stuff you say, like calling San Antonio poor. And what else have you done?
Stats.
Call San Antonio Big Laredo, which was that was.
No! I said if the city of San Antonio lost the Spurs, we'd just be a bigger Laredo.
That's a rowdy. Or saying you have enough money to hire help to build up the arena. That's messed up. That was messed up. We just have an article somewhere else. Like, what? See, I think when Jimenez does that, I just ask if I heard it correctly. That's all.
And a third of the time, I did say something stupid, or I said something that'll piss people off. But most of the time, you just throw me under the bus for no reason.
Hey, he gets you eyes, doesn't it? He gets you honest. That's all that matters. Gets you those clicks over there. But again, he is Jimenez. Make sure to follow him on X at MJ Acquired Taste. And also check out Joe's as well. He's part of the show there at Area 210 Podcast as well. Again, MJ Acquired Taste. That's the link you want to go to on X and subscribe and follow Jimenez right now. And we thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first listen every single day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Kensly Plus app, YouTube, Locked On Spurs newsletter in the description below if you're watching on YouTube. Click on that link. Completely free. Sign up today. We'll be back tomorrow as the season continues and starts winding down. So for Mike Jimenez, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.